Good morning, everyone. So let me introduce you guys to the panel. I'm going to have Batteries Plus come to the stage and join me. And while they're coming up, I didn't know really a lot about Battery Plus. I've heard about them. I've seen them around the IFA. I've seen them around franchising. And I didn't realize these guys do a lot more. I mean, there's really a plus in Battery Plus. I mean, there really is a plus. iPhone repairs, laptop repairs, lighting, generators, a ton of stuff. So what we're going to do today is we're going to, it's a big panel, and we have a franchise owner star on the panel, so that's my favorite scenario. Let's start by having you guys introduce yourselves and what do you do in your lane for Battery Plus?
Hey, well, first of all, thank you, Sam, for wrangling this herd of cats. It's no easy task. I'm John Sika, Chief Operating Officer at Batteries Plus. I get to work with everybody here in some capacity and also get to spend a lot of time with our franchisees and our customers.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. It's Kranti Malreddy. I'm the CIO for Batteries Plus, heading all the technology pieces of our organization.
Yeah, I'm Jason Moss, and I handle store development and training operations at Batteries Plus.
I'm Derek Duttenberg, Chief Marketing and Merchandising Officer at Batteries Plus. I've worked in, this is my third franchise opportunity that I've worked on, so very familiar with this space.
And I'm Allison Watson. I'm a franchisee. We own 16 Batteries Plus stores here in Atlanta.
And I'm Joe Malamuth, Chief Development Officer for Batteries Plus.
And a CFE.
And a CFE.
That's right.
Sounds important.
So what we want to do, we're going to have the ability, I can see most of you. We'll have the ability, if we're going through the topics today, if there's anything that somebody has really resonated to, or you want one of the panelists to kind of dig in a little deeper, we do have 2 microphones. If you put your hand up, they have asked for the audience to be interactive. So we'd love to have anybody raise their hand. We'll get a mic to you to interact with anybody that's on the panel. So let's start this great scenario here. Derek, tell us what, I start with the marketing, right? So tell us.
Always starts with marketing.
Tell us a little bit tell us a little bit about Battery Plus and what makes you guys differentiating.
Yeah, well, I need to go back to the beginning. So we've been around since the early 90s, and we were that brand that you could take a battery or later a bulb into a store and say, what do I do with this? And we were there to really solve problems of things that people didn't know where to find a replacement. Then this little thing called Amazon came along, the internet, and we had to evolve our business model. And so going from little pieces and parts that we had to fix to more mainstream things like auto batteries, marine batteries, fixing phones and iPads. But I think at the heart of it, there's 2 things. One is we're a needs-based business. So you come to us because you have a problem. This is not a place where you come in and browse. We love that, but you come to us because you have a problem in our job, both from all of us up here, but also down to the store level and our associates, is we've got to fix your problem. We have to know what it is that you need, the proper fitment, the proper use case. And so if you come in and say, I've got a Ford F-150, we've got a battery for that, but we really need to know a little bit more about it. Do you plan on keeping that? How do you use it? Are you in cold weather, hot weather? We're trying to find the best thing. So I guess at the heart of what we do is bringing expertise of power solutions to our customers to help bring power to their lives, is what we say.
Awesome. I'm going to jump to Joe because you said something that, Joe, you said in our Zoom getting this thing ready for today. You talked about being needs-based.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing about our business at the end of the day. During the pandemic, for example, if you had a Dunkin' Donuts with no drive-through, you were in a world of hurt, right? And you're trying to figure out how to keep your staff employed and everything else. We didn't have any of those problems because that nurse that was working the floor with all the COVID patients has a dead battery that morning. She has to get to work, right? Because that's how the community functions. And so when we do what we do, we're to steal from Derek, we're powering that. And so that helps us kind of naturally be in a place where that customer experience is out there in front. of everything that we do, every decision we make, and we're thinking about that on two levels: the end user customer and the franchisee as a customer. So we have, based on that needs-based idea, have a real distinct advantage in the marketplace.
That's awesome. I'm gonna jump off script already.
Yeah.
Warned you guys about this, right? Okay. So who wants to take explaining and how do you matriculate this comment to what you do in recycling as your customer experience and being a sustainable kind of company? Because that was something really unique that I saw about you guys, and it was like, wow, I mean, it's a lot of things you guys do when it comes to recycling. Who wants to take that?
I can jump in. We don't take a lot of credit for it, but we recycle over 50 million pounds of batteries a year. And again, it goes back to not only being needs-based and understanding our customer, but really understanding what drives our customer. And it's not just about being a problem solver, it's about understanding that customers are coming to us either when they're at their worst or when sometimes they're at their best and they want to contribute to the environment as well. And being that one-stop shop and just taking it off their hands in a very easy way, because customers don't know what to do with when they have problems that we need to solve, or when they have elements that they want to recycle. And it's something that we've been able to develop a place in kind of quietly as a bit of a juggernaut with our sustainability efforts to continue to drive not only the brand affinity for our brand, but the sustainability efforts in partnership with local communities.
Yeah, let's be honest. Who out here has a drawer full of batteries that they don't know what to do with, or a box in their garage of things, right? And when we talk to people about it, they want to do right. That's why they haven't thrown them in the garbage, but they just don't know what to do with them, right? And so that's part of what our 700 locations can do, is be that kind of front door to recycling for our customers and for the communities that we serve.
So Alan, so you're kind of on the ground level of this conversation with this recycling thing and this sustainability, and from a franchise owner to the consumer base, how do you talk about that? How do you at the unit level push that forward to the consumer?
Well, I think we're always educating our consumers on everything that we do. Anytime someone walks in for a car battery, they don't realize that we also do key fobs or key cutting or all the different services that we offer. So I think for us, we're such a bigger offer than what your first problem is when you walk in the door. So recycling is just one of the aspects of the add-ons that we can offer our customers.
Right. So with that, John, you guys have got some really cool accolades, Net Promoter Score processes. Elaborate to us about what we've heard so far on how you've achieved those Net Promoter Scores, and how do you manage what the brand does with that at the franchise owner's experience?
So, and all credit to Allison and our many franchisees, but our Net Promoter Score in the specialty retail space is in the mid-80s, when the specialty retail index is typically in the low 60s. And we even have stores that we recently awarded that have Net Promoter Scores of 100. And it's because we are dealing with customers when they absolutely need something and they need it right now. And everything in our store is designed to facilitate us fulfilling that promise, from our systems to how our store is designed. None of it's by accident, and none of it is completely reliant on an associate that may have only been there a few days or a few weeks. Anyone can come in and type something in one of our proprietary systems and find exactly what they need. And you're talking hundreds of thousands of different devices and fitments and batteries. And when someone comes in, it's to Allison's point, we want to teach them what we do, but they're not necessarily looking to hang out. They want to get in and get out as quick as possible, and we want to make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Because of the complexity and the depth of the product line and the cross references we have in the business, we want our associates, customers come to us for expertise, right? Store associates, everybody who is, to John's point, even if they are 2 weeks old, we want them to be provided with all the expertise, simplify the complexity behind the scenes, and make the associates and give that customer experience what they came for.
Yeah, when you think about a little battery store, you may not think, hey, they have a multi-platform, multi-cloud, geo-redundant, fully uplifted system behind the scenes that now has AI platforms as well behind it, helping bring natural language models to franchisees and store associates that ultimately, because we don't know what someone's going to ask, and we're not going to know that, hey, Sam comes in and he says he has a 1957 Ford, like, okay, well, what do you need? And what type of battery is that? We're going to be able to just ask a question, or we can today, and get an answer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as everybody in the room, like in the last 15, 16 months has been a crazy innovation ride in the technology space since OpenAI came out with ChatGPT. So we, again, to John's point, we have, over the years heavily invested in our technology stack, being cloud first, working with our partners, and be ready for this movement that enabled us to spin up an innovation team, really do an experimentation. Hey, what is this new technology about? As we know, AI has been there for very long, and it is embedded into a lot of our things that we use. But what is this generative AI? How can we leverage and the use cases? One of the best quote I heard is like, if people ask me, what is the use case for a generative AI? Everything is a use case, right? It's all about prioritization. But since the beginning, we've been very conscious of being AI, not sake of AI, but being part of the business strategy and how we can deliver experience to the customers. That's been the core to our business.
So Allison, how have you embraced what he just said?
Well,
As a franchise owner, I mean, you're on the ground, right? You're at the street, I mean, you're in the front line.
A lot of the feedback we get from new employees is product knowledge. They need more product knowledge. We sell so many things, and there's so many problems walking in our door, and how do they have the answers to everything, and how can they learn it all? And part of it is training, but a large part of it are these processes. Enabling our employees without every single product knowledge, but to continue to be problem solvers, even if they don't know the answer, but to be able to have resources to find the answer and solve the problem. And that's huge for us because it takes a long time. We have people who've worked for us for 10 years and they still don't know everything about every battery, but as long as we have these resources, we can still continue to solve everyone's problems. That's huge for us.
Carthy, you've been there 18 years at the company. So what is, you mentioned 18 months, the last 18 months. Is there a secret bullet that you don't have to, that you can't disclose, right? You don't have to give any trade secrets, but is there a secret bullet of technology that was not game changing, but like really elevated what the brand does in the franchisor experience, and then what the franchisor does with the consumer experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think even if you think about the technology as a consumer standpoint, what has been different since previous technology revolutions is like, this is more natural language, right? Like it's more of like, hey, you can talk to these, lack of better term, black boxes, bots, and it can understand, it can have a conversation with it, right? So that really helps us the possibility of where all we can apply this. If we talk about, the number one thing is, if you take it as example of shopping experience, how you can personalize, right? So we always feel like, if a customer walks into our store and our great associates take care of them because they understand, they converse, they understand. We always have like, hey, how can you replicate that? Because many of us as consumers, we start our journey on our mobile phones, right? Like even just to Derek's point, it's not just Ford 150. You need to ask like follow-up questions to find the right product, right? So all these use cases where we deal with every day, this is new generative AI landscape is gonna open up. And I truly think we are very in infancy state of this revolution, but I think the more importantly is laying out organization strategy and all the piece parts that are needed for us to build on, and as technology evolves, to capitalize and really help at the end of the day our store associate and customers.
Joe, how's this helped you in the FranDev process, in the messaging to franchise owner? Say that again?
This is going to put me out of a job at some point. Look, at the end of the day, I know we're at the customer experience conference here, so I'm going to soapbox on FranDev for a second. Surprise, surprise. Every franchisee struggles with one of two things or both, and that is a skills gap with their employees or an experience gap with their employees. And what Kranthi and his team are trying to do, and they're doing it successfully with cross-functionally, is how do we eliminate those gaps without having to find that unicorn of an employee in the first place, right? And some of that can be done with AI. Some of that can be done with designing a strong e-commerce experience. Some of that can be done with a really good planogram in the store. And at the end of the day, if I can take a franchisee fresh out the box, or a franchise, we still have our first franchisee, which is unheard of, right? He's been in the business for forever. If I can take that problem that he still has and eliminate it through technology and always looking at the results of what each individual experience our customers have, then you're eliminating some of the challenge that a lot of folks have with hiring the right people. I just need to hire somebody who can do the thing and make people feel good. And at that point, that's a force multiplier for your operation and every other franchisee that we have in the system. And so when I have a franchise candidate that's going through the process and they pick up the phone and they're calling the franchisees and they hear that, that's a good deal.
Well, and Sam, you mentioned kind of what's our secret sauce or secret weapon, and he might be a little too modest, but Jason and team, look, both on Discovery Days and Kranthi and team wouldn't have been able to do what they've done with AI so quickly if the documentation hadn't been great, and we didn't have great teachers in the business that had already prepared this and enabled us to load things into it. And I know Jason and team are really the highlight of every Discovery Day too.
Yeah, and I appreciate one of the things for a specialty retailer, one of the things we bring to the table is our educated employees, right? And I mean, people come into our stores, they expect an answer, they expect the not, they want to know. We're answering the question, what do you need for that 1957 pickup, right? And
it's not chips.
It is, yes. but our employees need to know that. Our franchisees need to know that. And we, as a franchisor, our duty is to train them and to train our franchisees to train their employees too, right? We've done a pretty exhaustive revamp of our training program over the last 2 years. We do our in-person training in Wisconsin at our headquarters for all of our new franchisees.
It's beautiful in January there.
Yeah, February, January, best time of year to be up there. We come there. We teach them how to train their employees to answer these questions. The AI stuff that Kranthi is doing to add to our training as well, being able to type in a question and get an answer for the product or the item that they're going to be needing. It changes the way our customers experience their visit to Batteries Plus.
Yeah, I can pay that off. When I was being recruited for this job, I met our boss, our CEO down here in Atlanta. We were touring the market. I think it was in one of your stores, and we were just kind of secret shopping, I guess. I mean, they knew who Scott was. They didn't know who I was. But a contractor came in. He had definitely could tell he was a jobber of some sort, and he was carrying a long tube bulb in his hand. And he goes to the front desk and he said, "Do you know what this bulb, where I can get this bulb?" And the associate very quickly said, "Well, where did you get it?" He goes, "It was some 1980s Coca-Cola vending machine." I'm like, "Oh boy, this is going to be a problem." And he typed it into our system. He's like, "Be right back." He has 2 of them, and he said, "How many do you need?" He goes, "Well, I'm on a route that I'm trying to service 10 of these things." He goes, "Well, I can send you 10 more, by tomorrow." And it happened like this. There was no hiccups or anything. I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. And I went to the associate afterwards and said, "How many times have you fulfilled that particular request?" He goes, "That was the first time."
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. Allison, obviously, from all that.
Obviously, that was my story.
Obviously.
I got to go to the franchise owner and say there's been a lot of, sounds like, change in the last 3, 4 years, 5 years with technology, et cetera. How impactful has that been in you building, 17 locations?
16.
16 locations. And Allison comes from franchising pedigree. Give them a 2-minute about your background and why I said that, and then elaborate in what Derek just said.
Yeah, so my family's been in the franchising business for a very long time, and really when the batteries opportunity came to us about 3 years ago, we were intrigued with the concept and the brand, but the leadership team is really what made us commit to it. Their commitment to the brand, their commitment to all the changes that we're talking about now, We started out with 3 stores 3 years ago. We're at 16 now. And it was really this team and everything we're talking about today that made us want to be an aggregator, made us want to expand faster than we ever planned. We built 4 new stores in a year. And it's just everything we're talking about is allowing us to grow like that and to educate our team, to meet our customers' needs in a much faster way than I ever would have thought that we could have done 3 years ago.
Awesome. So Jason, in the last 4 years, I think you guys put up, 120 locations? While the whole franchising community, everybody in this room, right, 4 years ago, we're trying to figure out what's happening. Believe it or not, we're in 2024, and I'm going to mention the pandemic for a second, but everybody was off-ramping that, trying to figure out what the new normal was for their brand, what the new normal is in franchising, franchisor new normals, franchise owner new normals, supplier new normals, what's it going to look like? You guys have been like, the last 4 years. Why?
Yeah, even in 2021, we still opened 30 stores, and over the last 4 years, like I said, 120 stores. Allison was 4 of those, but we have had to bob and weave to open stores. It has not been easy, right? Everybody in this room knows that. I mean, we've had to get very creative with our store design. We've re-merchandised. We've gone through a big project re-merchandising our stores to cut costs on the openings. We've changed product quantities. We've changed product assortment. We've changed store design. We've changed signage. All of these things we've done in an effort to cut costs and keep the investment low for Joe's team. We get very creative in our, hey, as we look for real estate, can we make a store work in this location? How can we keep the customers and their brand experience the same in this location as that location and get flexible with the design? Can we keep this flooring? Can we change this? Can we do that? And we work very, every store is customized to fit and make sure our brand experience is the same, but keep that cost on the low side for our investors.
So of course, I'm gonna pull Joe into this in a second. But before I do that, your stores are averaging, 1,200 square feet?
Yeah. So that's one of the things we've done. We used to be closer to 1,800. We've come down, it's 1,200 to 1,400.
And then I went on the website, and you should do this, right? Later on today, go to Barry's Plus. And tomorrow, I said later on today. Tomorrow, tonight, dinner. And it's like, wow. And then I saw the square footage average, great AUVs, $1 million plus, right? 800 some locations. And I'm thinking, where do they put all that inventory in 1,200 square feet? How is that managed?
Yeah, we have a great logistics team. Our
Allison laughed.
Yeah.
Well, we've got all different kinds of stores. We've got every different size and shape, really. But all of our new stores are in line, the smaller stores, and I mean, we get the product on the floor and we get it moving.
Yeah, I think another piece that helps the productivity of the stores, we've got a commercial business that's 40% of our sales. So we're talking a lot of retail here, but John runs the commercial side of the business too, and that's a lot of times it's the same inventory, sometimes it's different inventory, but we run the commercial business right through the stores, which is a bit of our point of difference. The warehouse, so to speak, is the store, so it's in your community.
Joe, this is like a Fran Dev dream, right, from what we're hearing up here. I mean, how are you utilizing all this stuff? Obviously, it's working at 120 locations in 4 years.
Yeah. We've signed more than that. I will throw that out there. But on Discovery Day, we still do in-person Discovery Days from time to time, but one part of the experience on Discovery Day, we've got, 150,000 square feet, something like that? 150,000 square foot warehouse. We have like our own Amazon facility basically in Wisconsin, right? And that's our main hub, distribution, logistics, and then, as we were saying, we take that as the jumping off point from the product that we receive, but then we treat the store level as kind of a decentralized warehouse, right? Franchisees can horse trade for product they're in stock or out of stock of. But the process that we have to be able to get inventory in the hands of franchisees, in the hands of their customers, and being able to weaponize our balance sheet to make sure that they're always in stock, which has been a challenge for a lot of different brands out there over the last 3-4 years as well, has been a huge advantage that we have. Being able to, it's important to invest in your infrastructure as a franchisor in order to make good on the promise that you make to franchisees, right? Which is buying power and all the other stuff we all know. to be true. And this brand has done a phenomenal job of that.
You're weaponizing balance sheet. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's. When customers come in and want something and you don't have it, I mean, you'll figure out, how being needs-based can cut both ways, and so you've got to have these things. Yeah. And what's more impressive, and Jason contemplates this in store design quite often is many of these batteries. I mean, people think of a little AA. We sell mainly like 50 to 70 pound huge truck, golf, car batteries. There's some even bigger for like, municipal buses that we sell that can be over 100 pounds, 2-man lift type things. And, that is beyond, having those things. I mean, that's what helps us create our moat. You can't ship these things unless they're on a pallet. Like to Derek's comment about Amazon, like you can't buy this off of Amazon and get it shipped to your house. It's going to show up on an LTL truck. They're going to need a lift gate. You're going to pay more in shipping than what the battery costs. And so, for us, understanding not only what our customers want, but also what our moat is against competition and designing to that has been a huge part of our success. And Jason can talk about the importance of having a door in the back of a store.
Yeah, we think about every little detail right in the design, but I do think that one thing I was just going to mention on the logistics side and like our inventory is managed very tightly. From a franchisor side, we provide inventory planning support. We have a team that, especially for our new franchisees, they get inventory planning for the first year to help them maximize and ensure they have the right product in the store, they're not ordering too much, making sure they don't miss out on a sale because they didn't have the product. But also we have conversion opportunities where like-minded retailers are buying into our brand because we can provide them the product on a consistent basis, whereas their other suppliers, they're struggling with that. So they want to be a franchisee for us so they can have access to our supply chain.
I'm going to come back to that commercial thing in a second, but we had a question. I don't know if there's here she.
Question, but it's also coupled with a short story. So I have like a motorcycle. It was like an 80-something Honda Shadow 1100cc, and it has this weird T battery. There was only one place that I could find it locally, and that was Batteries Plus.
Nice.
When I went there, I don't remember if it was the franchisee or the person working there, but they kind of educated me on how batteries work. And they were like, come back tomorrow, and they were going to fill it up with acid and everything like that. But thinking about what you're talking about now with distribution and everything like that, it also like brought to mind to me like, oh, they're not just shipping around like these batteries that are super heavy and have weird T-shapes in trucks. They're actually shipping like cases. So maybe you could shed some light on that. I don't know if I articulated it properly, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons why we help our franchisees the first year. And yes, we're helping our franchisees learn something that's incredibly hard. And most people in retail and in restaurants have done a lot of this in their careers and learned over 10, 20 years. We're asking a franchisee to do it the day after they open their store. And so understanding demand planning and getting a feel for the rhythm of retail is why we offer that service, because ultimately, it makes the franchisees profitable, but it's about optimizing that customer experience. And we back to the weaponized supply chain. We break down cases for our franchisees because they're not going to need that T-terminal battery. They may sell 2 of those a year, but they're going to need it. And so we break it down for them and build them custom pallets at our warehouse in Glendale that goes out to stores for exactly that reason. Like you just did, and I hear customers talking about it all the time. I hear my wife talking about it all the time. People speak supply chain and don't even realize it, because when you get something you want and you're happy, you've just benefited from a great supply chain.
Yeah, I mean, for that, it all, like, in going back to simplifying the complexity behind the scene, right? Like, being if you go back a few years, the whole omni-channel retailing, when it all took off, I think being us in a specialty retailer, when to Derek's example, the tube light or the light bulb is like, hey, they stole it for the first time. Like, the forecasting our demand and the products where they need to be is very important, and we are investing heavily on making sure we are optimizing our supply chain.
Is there any cool story about supply chain off-ramping the pandemic right? Getting all this 120 stores open, 1,200 square foot, making sure there's back doors. Is there anything with supply chain? I know we had a conversation of things with construction were a little bit inflections of some periods of time. Is there anything with supply chain that you guys got hit with and you got together, tackled it, had to recreate something, elevate something, or may bring something brand new to help that process to keep pushing this last 4 years of growth?
Well, sorry, John.
Go ahead, Jason.
Look, I think it's a great time to mention we're a unique business in the sense that we have a commercial client and a retail client, right? And our stores have benefit from both of those. As new franchisees, we have, since the pandemic, in order to, we saw the extended development timelines, but we were missing an opportunity to sell commercially or missing all that time. Our franchisees have an opportunity to sell commercial to their commercial clients and build their commercial pipeline before they even open their brick and mortar. We have franchisees that are selling their first battery 2 months after signing their franchise agreement before their brick and mortar is even open. So it's one of the ways we've gotten creative to find ways to get around the challenges of the pandemic. But our supply chain, we're able to have product in their hands within just a day of the order, 2 days of the order.
So, during the pandemic, I'll give two quick examples. During the pandemic, and we see this all the time, but it was especially pronounced. Back to the gentleman's example here with that very unique battery. There's a very unique battery that goes in a thermometer. And during COVID, that was popping, like 5,000%. And it was us getting every bit of inventory we could and getting it immediately into stores, either through our warehouse or directly to stores through a vendor dropship type program. More recently, we do a lot of device repair. And you can tell when parts get missing or parts go out immediately the next day. And we had a soft day, and these are $300-400 tickets for someone to get a phone repaired. It wasn't a screen, it wasn't a battery, it was the adhesive. We ran out of the adhesive that you put to make a phone go back together and be waterproof, and we had to get some airlifted from Korea like overnight to get to our store so they could keep repairing phones because we're seeing such incredible volume in a certain phone model. And I mean, that type of stuff happens all the time.
Yeah, I mean, for those particular programs, there's so many components to fixing a phone. I mean, we're managing inventory on behalf of the owners down to the store level. So we can see, because there's so many models of phones and the components are expensive, we want it to be almost just in time. Like if you got one repair, we're gonna make it, but you're gonna be backfilled the next day so you don't miss a beat if somebody walks in for a repair.
Well, and it's incredibly complex, and a lot of people know this, that your phone's components are specific to the carrier, when you're Verizon versus AT&T, the device, the color in some cases. And imagine walking into a store, you've got an appointment, your phone is broken, you got to get back online. Sorry, I can't fix it. I don't have the glue to make it go back together. I mean, that would just be a gut-wrenching experience for someone, in one of Allison's stores to ask that associate to disappoint a customer. And so, yeah, we move mountains to make sure our franchisees have that stuff. And yeah, put it on a plane. Let's get it here.
So Derek, how do you guys market the differentiation of marketing for the commercial base of consumer versus the non-commercial consumer? And of course, I want Allison to chime in as a recipient of that. How has that worked in growing the business?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with the retail side. It's a little simpler in some ways. We talked earlier about being a needs-based business. So if you break your phone or your car is dead in the driveway, the first thing that you're going to do is, car battery near me or phone repair near me. So a lot of the spending that we do on the retail side is lower funnel. We've got to be present when you have a need. That said, it's a very competitive space. We've got competitors, basically different sets of competitors for every category that we play in. So we've got, just using AutoZone is a battery, is a competitor. And so we also have to do some top of the funnel education about who we are, where we are, the types of services that we have, the type of quality and experience that we provide, so that if we're in a Google search page, that if AutoZone is right next to us, we've got to beat them out. And so we can beat them out by being in the #1 position when you type that in, but we also can beat that out because we've done a balance of top and bottom funnel. So you have confidence to click on us and get into our either researching shopping type of experience on our site or a buying type of experience. From the commercial side of things, there are really three things that we try to do. We've got a book of business that we're trying to get more share of wallet from, and we talk with our commercial salespeople. They don't have a category specific type of strategy for any particular customer. They'll sell whatever we have in our book of business to address a customer's needs. And so if we get in and we're selling them AA's or lighting or maybe something for their forklifts, but then they come to us with some unique type of application like John talked about earlier, we'll sell that too. And so part of that lower funnel or trying to reduce the churn and gaining share is just staying in front of them. And it's a lot of CRM, it's a lot of types of things that we're trying to integrate some systems in Salesforce and some of the other things that we do just to stay front and center. And then there are people that come to us and we've solved a problem and then they leave and they've had a good experience, but they might not have a need, or maybe they forgot, or maybe that was 2 years ago. So we also have programs to reduce that churn and get people back in without the need of having a salesperson call them. And then there's prospecting, right? So, like many folks in here, on the marketing side, we're trying to look at customers and their traits and, what industries are they in, what are their buying habits, what do they look like, and then either finding folks that are in those same industries or people that have characteristics like them and market to those folks as well.
Yeah, I think that just to add to that, I think the technology piece is going to go a long way as well. Just a commercial customer and a retail customer might be looking at the same product, but the specifications that they're looking at could be completely different. The commercial customer needs more details, so that's where really, in the systems that we manage, ability to kind of pivot, kind of customer base, personalize, that goes a long way as well.
Is there like a fleet type of customer, right? Is there a differentiation in discounting for that fleet customer is it an agreement process?
And you're exactly right. And with all that complexity, Kranthi and Derek are managing to have that behind the scenes for our franchise owners, because we want people doing one thing. When someone walks in and their name is on their shirt, hey, are you a commercial customer? And because then we can offer you, hey, let me tell you about our commercial pricing and our fleet programs, and make that human connection, because that's what we want our associates and our franchise owners to be really good at, is making those human connections. All the complicated stuff we want to have behind the scenes. We don't even want you to know what's going on. We just want you to benefit from it.
Yeah, and a good example of your fleet comment, we have a franchisee in Long Island who is millimeters away from landing the entire bus transit system for New York for their batteries. So you can imagine how many buses and how that's a hop, skip, and a jump into other things as a municipal contract. Like that one sale, if she's in her second year of operation, that one sale will give her 100% ROI on her investment to open that store. And so we leverage, through Derek's team, through the logistics and supply chain program, the power that franchisee brings to the table to be able to leverage the conversation with that potential customer of theirs. Be able to say, nobody else can do this. So you can't go down to Walmart and get this. I've got it for you, and I can have it immediately, all the time, as often as you need to get it at the best possible pricing. And our owners win. They win these bids. And when you look at our FTD and you see like average retail tickets, $60-something, whatever it is, but then you have this commercial element that comes in there, one sale, 100% ROI. So whole investment.
Speed can be incredibly important, and we have, again, stuff happening behind the scenes. Through Salesforce, we have an automated bid process that franchisees can put, hey, I've got this customer, I need to be at this price. This is below our standard commercial price. How do I get there? And we'll be able to solve that within minutes, where that used to be the game of phone tag. And you might be getting back to a customer in a week, and you don't know what other sales reps had been in there in that time. And now we're able to get franchisees an answer when they're in front of a customer in some cases, and before they've even left. And I can get it for you at that price.
So if you have a commercial customer, you have a set price point for this fleet style transaction, and a franchise owner comes and says what you just described, hey, I really need to be here. Is that a process of the brand then going to your manufacturers and negotiating some change, or is that already structured in your distribution setup that that we have the ability to make some room work?
Both. It could be both. In some cases, it's the latter. In other cases, it's the former. And we've got tools that we can draw off of and personal relationships. We've got Duracell and Energizer and other companies on speed dial to be able to get an answer quick and get back to a franchisee when they're in front of a customer to be able to make that sale. And that type of service for us, I mean, as a franchisor, again, it's about us making the franchisee successful, but ultimately it's about Allison and her teams being able to make customers happy.
Allison, on the ground,
Well,
how's it work?
I'm incredibly lucky to have a really strong commercial sales team. And we took on the Atlanta market. There was a fragmented market. So for the retail side, it was nice to kind of bring it all under one ownership and streamline the training and the service. But our commercial sales team, they just took off. Now they have the entire Atlanta market, which is a bit overwhelming, but incredibly exciting. And we have a commercial sales coach through corporate that meets with us every week, helps direct them in the right way. We've got the commercial as a service, which is something that they offer us, where it's someone that comes to us and does kind of cold calls. He's not here on the ground, but he gives us a ton of leads. He's amazing. Commercial sales is it's over 40% of our business, and we haven't even begun to tap all of the opportunities in Atlanta. So it is probably one of the most exciting parts of our ownership group, and it's something that we feel totally supported by, and I am really lucky. I mean, we have a dedicated team to just commercial sales.
I was going to ask, so you've expense assets,
We have a
capital assets.
5-person team. Yeah, I mean, it's that big and it's that important. And like I said, we haven't even begun to really do what we're planning on doing in the Atlanta market. But it is the other thing that I appreciate from the marketing side is that what Derek did was he gave every franchisee kind of a hyper-local spend. So, we give our money to the marketing team, but they give us back some money to spend as we want. And with 16 stores, it ended up being a pretty big budget. And what we did is we brought that to our commercial sales team. So if they want to go do a conference, or if they want to advertise in a certain program that really doesn't benefit our stores as much, I'm able to do that, and I'm able to give them that money to go. And we've got one guy that loves the car shows, so he can go and he has all the branding, and he goes out and the connections he makes like that, I mean, he brings business in on Monday from those things. So it's been beneficial to us.
This at real-time processing, it has to be technology driven. Is it AI totally driven? If I'm sitting at the counter and somebody comes in for this T battery of this motorcycle, and is it that quick? Or I've got this New York Transit fleet possibility as a transaction. I need to figure out how I can go 10% cheaper. Is that something that I could go into as a franchise owner, and then it's telling me exactly what can happen, or is it a logistical phone call?
Customized contract management.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we definitely invested quite a bit, and it's not all AI. Again, I think where it's a purposeful, you talk about product searches and things like that, the personalized, what a customer is asking, adapting to the customer experience, absolutely, and even quite a bit of pricing aspect of it, because I mean, as you know, Derek mentioned about Amazon. I mean, they are on a dynamic pricing, like the price can change every second in a way for some of these items, right? So again, we are not in that hyper, change environment on the pricing standpoint, but we are definitely leveraging. At the end of the day, the fastest response, even the example that John mentioned about bid management, how do we reduce the cycle time for these decisions? Because ultimately, for customer needs or getting some of the business, the response time is so critical, and that's where we are focusing on how do we, or encompassing reduce the cycle time, leveraging the technology.
Yeah, we rebuilt our contract management. I say we, Kranthi. We built our contract management module, and even did something our franchisees asked for a lot of those cases, is be able to have a little dynamic widget that calculates how much money you're going to make if you're going to go below the commercial standard price. hey, what is that going to do to my, in gross profit?
Yep.
And they're able to see that, as they're making decisions, and then, immediately lock that into a contract and PDF it out to a customer. And as we looked at that side of the business, which has been growing double digits the last few years, we even went back to some kind of core processes that we have, like training, to say, hey, it's not enough to have a couple of days of commercial during our 2-week training for new stores and new managers. We need to have a dedicated commercial week that Jason and team pioneered.
Yeah, like I said, we revamped that entire experience in Wisconsin. We have a whole week that's just dedicated to commercial sales. The commercial coaches are there providing it. We do in-store visits. They even tour a warehouse to identify. I mean, you just in this room alone, there's dozens of applications that most of us don't realize for batteries. And being able to educate our franchisees on those is the most important. So they have to understand it, and we have to teach it to them.
Yeah, we want them to project expertise when they're in front of a customer, and getting them real-world experience and application and on the ground is how we do that for that specific line of business.
Yeah, and I would even add, look, we do continued training too. I know Allison, just a couple weeks ago, we had our field sales training team in their market working with their training team. We provide continued training opportunities because products are constantly changing. Turnover happens, and they have to continue to keep learning those things. We have an e-learning platform that we've just launched, updated with full updated content. Batteries Plus University, we're extremely excited about it. But we provide a monthly minute. There's so many opportunities for us to educate our franchisees and their training teams. And like I said, we want to be focused on training the trainer, right? We need Allison's team to be able to train their employees at the store level. And that's the way we can affect our customers' experience and making sure that the guy who comes in to get that battery for his, the light bulb for his old lamp that's out in his barn, right? That's the kind of stuff we need our employees to be able to answer. So we have training.
We thought training was so important. We turned one of our stores into a training store. So now every new employee comes through. They have the first 2 weeks in our training store with our GM there is also our in-store trainer, and then we have a trainer that goes around to all of our stores to follow up. And like Jason said, we had the corporate trainers come down, and it's just, it's training them to constantly be problem solvers, and we have all the resources to do that. And we just thought that training is the most important, because even for our commercial sales team, when they walk into a building, they need to be able to look around and say, hey, who services this for you? And it can turn one client into 10 clients just by knowing what the needs are.
So I want to go back to this New York Transit opportunity, right? You said one sale, the entire development expense is paid in full, right? How do you guys engage with this franchise owner? Is it a one-time transaction, or do you get a hold of this and everybody gets involved and says, wait a minute, we need to make this a 3-year contract. We need to make this a 2-year contract. How do you guys take that opportunity for the franchise owner and then transact that into coaching them into making this a longer-term process?
One of the support mechanisms that we provide our owners is looking for contract opportunities, right? Through our national accounts program, which is part of the commercial piece. And so we'll identify, hey, the City of New York has got an RFP out for this product, or where I'm at, a local franchisee to me in South Florida, they watch the school district website for RFPs for batteries or device repair and these kinds of things. And we'll go in, we've got folks on the support team that are contract experts, government contracting experts, et cetera, some of them former franchisees, to help position the bid as best as we possibly can to try to win that business. And so the New York example is exactly that. And so we've worked with that franchisee to make sure she is as well positioned to go in there and knows what to say, how to say it, when to say it, how to answer the questions appropriately, and how to provide the best possible proposal where she has the best possible chance of winning that business. And we do that for every franchisee in the system. So I don't know if anybody wants to add to that.
Yeah, I'll just add, she's that close, but we're preparing a full-on marketing approach to that. Assume she wins. That's a huge deal for her, but it's also a huge deal for Allison, right?
Yep.
And so, that's great content for case studies that could feed SEO. That's great content for that nurturing campaign that I talked about earlier, just bringing it front and center. It's great content for press releases and other things locally and nationally, so that we take these big wins that are sort of unique and make people think a little bit differently about the brand.
Oh yeah, I mean you take that and there's transit in Atlanta, there's transit in Denver, there's
Yeah, and
Tell nobody our plan.
I've been in restaurant franchising as well, and this is to me, QSR is great. You have a great relationship with owners, but we get to really be a business partner to our owners in our business at Batteries Plus. And for me, it's really franchising at its best, because we get to be so connected with our owners every day. And the franchisee Joe mentioned, I mean, she's a disabled veteran. 3 kids, lost her husband. And frankly, this is life-changing for her. And those are the types of stories we want to see more of. We want to make happen. I mean, it's great for all the business reasons, but it's more important to us just because how personally important it is to her and what this is going to do for her and her family long term.
Awesome. Is there any question? I felt you back there. That's why I turned. I've got that 8th sense.
I knew Larissa was going to have a question.
Of course. Oh, I don't know if it's on. Okay. Hi, Larissa Walega, Chief Growth Officer with ZBART. Thank you for sharing your story. It's an amazing story. You got an amazing validation at the beginning of this conversation from your franchise owner that one of the reasons that she's with you, expanded with you, stayed with you, has been your leadership. And I'm curious how you stay connected as a leadership team and hold each other accountable.
Well, we give out our cell phone numbers a lot, and our philosophy is it's always and in both. Yeah. I think in some franchise systems, you will see, hey, the field team is the one connection, the director of sales and operations or the district manager, whatever you call it in your brand, is the key point of contact. And we sort of blew that up. Yeah, we've got directors in the field that go and can help coach, but our franchisees know, I mean, we spend time with them in training. They get to meet everybody during discovery days. They've got sales coaches who they talk to about commercial, and it's just building that personal relationship, which doesn't happen overnight. You've got to be in person with them at sales achievement meetings. We did regional meetings earlier this year, and it's not just about the content. We spend, I would say, as much time just socializing with our owners as we do presenting and sharing and creating opportunities.
We had a $20,000 bar bill at our sales achievement event in Las Vegas, just at the pool. Yeah. Socialization with franchisees is important.
You just lost the mic drop. Yeah. That was the mic drop.
Hey, we're getting that reduced.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to take care of it.
How about each of you just elaborate on that question to wrap up?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think our core DNA of our leadership and our franchisees is truly a community, right? I mean, I mentioned I've been here 18 years, and the people and understanding is for them. Many of the franchisees, it's their livelihood, right? So that we take that to heart, and we really look from the customer and our franchisees' perspective, and really helps us put everything into perspective, not just look at a job, and really we are in a problem solving phase.
Jason?
Yeah, look, Allison, all of our franchisees, there's probably not anybody on this panel that doesn't go a day without talking to at least a couple of our franchisees. Yeah. And a lot of us know their personal stories. I mean, I know where Allison's vacation spots are. I mean, we talk about a lot of things, and we're friends with them. And, all of us I would be willing to bet that all of us, if we haven't already, will be calling our franchisee about the New York thing. We take their success to heart, and it really, we're cheesy, but it's a family. We really do. We're invested in their success, and it's.
Yeah, I mean, I think one other aspect to your question that's unique about our leadership team sort of between each other, there's a lot of us, a little bit of a byproduct of COVID, a little bit even before that, he's in South Florida, I'm in Charlotte, we've got some in Wisconsin, our CEO's in Kansas City. But we travel up to Wisconsin. We've got a very strict routine that we go through on a Tuesday, and that's how we communicate with each other. It starts with our leadership team, and then there's a purpose for every meeting as we step through a Tuesday. You could be on the road for a week, and you come in and you run through a Tuesday session, and you know everything that's going on in the business. And so we have healthy debates, but that's how we stay connected. And to Jason's point, I think that to do that, you have to have trust, right? And you have to have trust amongst each other. We have to have trust with our owners and our owners back to us, and assuming positive intent. And I think when we do that, we're really good as a team, and then we're really good in service of our owners.
Joe, and we'll end with Allison.
You gave me 40 seconds left, and I get to give some of it to her. Look, it comes down, I think Derek said it best, actually. Like, we actually like each other, right? Like, we actually are, like, as a leadership team, like, we're like friends. I hate to use the word bromance, but it's kind of like that a little bit. And at the same time, like, we like our franchisees. Like, I've been a part of franchise systems where it's like, ugh, I don't want to answer that call. Like, we take every call, man. It's because we genuinely like these people, and for the most part, I would say, I think they genuinely like us back. And so when it's like, when you get a phone call from the in-laws, like, and that's an exciting phone call, like, we're kind of everybody's in-laws in our franchise system. Your life's going to go a heck of a lot better if you get along with your in-laws, right? So that's kind of the approach.
Allison?
Well, it's genuine. I mean, I pick up the phone, I call Derek, I call Jason. These are the guys I mostly work with, and it is a genuine. They believe in the brand. It encourages us to continue to build and believe in the brand. And not every day is great on the retail side, but the overall picture and the excitement is palpable and it's real.
Well, wow, this has been an awesome hour. So before we're going to give these guys a round of applause, anybody who wants to buy a franchise, you got to come through me first. I ain't getting the referral fee to send you to Joe. So let's hear from Batteries Plus. Thank you, guys. Awesome job.
Go ahead.